When you see somebody trying the best, even it's sometimes when we can't do great things, but when we do small things greatly, it becomes a great thing in the person's eyes, you know. And that's the beauty about it, because sometimes we can't be like Elon Musk or that person, but the little things that we can do in a great way makes a big difference in our lives.
We're here with Mr. Robert Ford, co-author with Pat Mesiti in the book, The Freedom Blueprint. And maybe you out there, you say you want success, but you secretly sabotage yourself with pride or ego that can destroy you. And Mr. Robert Ford, he knows this in and out. He's dealt with setbacks, business wins, losses, reinventions, telling lies to ourselves, holding ourselves back. He lost a close friend to violence. He had a bounty placed on his head. So this man has lived a life. He's seen some things. He's had the inner struggle, and he's lived to tell about it. And he's transformed himself and become a wonderful man who helps others. So if you're stuck, frustrated, miserable, unhappy, on the way down, it's time to reinvent yourself and transform. And we're here with Robert Ford to help us do that. So, Mr. Robert Ford, how are you today?
Very good, Mr. Plank. Really good to speak to you again, and I just want to say thank you for doing a wonderful work on the book. It looks really great with the eagle, and it looks fantastic, and I'm really excited to see how the book's going to help millions of people, thousands of people, and
Yes.
That's what I love, is helping people, seeing them being changed, seeing them being transformed, doing greater things, in their lives, for the families, for the communities. So it's great to know that, and that we're part of it, that we can play and be responsible to do something for the community. Yeah.
Yes, and that has to be a good feeling for you. And I know that there's so many hassles in life, right? If we're adults, we're grown up, sometimes we have to go out and do something. And there's so many times when I say, there's something I know I should do, but if it's just me that benefits, I'm not really motivated. But if there's someone else out there who you taking that little action, like picking up someone from the airport or making that call or text to a close friend, it's like impossible not to rise to the occasion. And if someone is let down by you not taking action, then that's another motivator. So sometimes it does take helping others for us to step up and stand up and do what's right and take some action. And so as far as just what you think you've figured out in life, what do you have to share with us? What are life secrets?
Life is the greatest teacher. Going through life, whether it's the up and the downs, it teaches us something. When you're on the top of the valley and below the valley, life teaches us great things. Great things. Don't give up. In other words, don't give up. Keep on going. Pursue it. And the great things that are the wonderful thing I see in people is there's greatness in every person. And that greatness, I call it gold. There's gold in every person. And we have to go deep into the person and draw that gold out of them. And they're going to be totally transformed because they are gold. And they're not, I'm just saying, because as a Christian, is that when you see somebody doing well, we should rejoice.
Yes.
When you see somebody trying the best, even sometimes when we can't do great things, but when we do small things greatly, it becomes a great thing in the person's eyes, And that's the beauty about it, because sometimes we can't be like Elon Musk or that person, but the little things that we can do in a great way makes a big difference in our lives.
I agree. That's beautiful. And in your chapter of this book, it's called From Anger to Purpose, How Faith, Renewal, and Obedience Rebuilt My Life. And you think about anger, you think about complete chaos and randomness and kind of going in circles and being a tangled mess, and versus purpose, where you say, hey, that's my goal. That's where I want to be. I know what I don't want. I know where to go. I don't have it all figured out, but I know the people I want to have on my team to help me out. And so as far as this decades long experience that you've gone through from going to anger to purpose, what is the before picture life? What kind of anger were you wrestling with those many years ago?
The anger that I had was in the inside of me. When you get angry, and when, especially when people tell you that you're not smart, you're not the best, and stuff like that, and you're trying your best, but they don't see it, and it's the hurts, the rejection, and the shame that you go through. It sort of pulls you down. It pulls you down in life. It pulls you down, and then you get angry, and that anger that you have inside of you shows when you start to get angry, violent, and have fights and stuff like that. That anger comes out from you, and I suppose it's, in a way, it's how to let the anger escape out of you is to get it out into somebody else. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And that's not good at all.
And that's not good at all, and it just, there's, with all the way that I was brought up, it was the way that I was brought up was hard work. We had to work hard. I used to help my mom and dad, like getting up at 5 o'clock. We got to open up the shop, be there and work till 7 o'clock at night, go back home and stuff like that. And I was thinking, I want to be something better than that, I want to be something better than that. I know I can, but yet something was holding me back. My shame, my anger was holding me back. I couldn't get anywhere. And I used to get into fights because of that, because of people looking at me differently or saying something that's not nice. And I used to burst out in anger and want to have a fight. Things like that's what got me into a lot of trouble, a lot of trouble. And even landing in jail at one stage, where I was in jail for a day and then came out because I was angry and had a fight and things like that. So I knew I had to change. Because I knew that there was something greater in me, something more than I think I had. And that was a greatness that was in me, the goal that was in me. So, so reading the Bible was one thing that got me out of that. And my wife, which was the greatest encourager, came and she really encouraged me. The two people in my life that really helped me was God and my wife. So when you have God and you have a good wife, you're on your way to a good life.
Yeah, can't argue with that. And so you're saying that you were triggered by so many things and you were quick to have anger and you needed some amount of retraining your mind and having good role models and good people to kind of calm you down and be in your corner, such as God and such as your wife. And what's really great about your book is that you have all these amazing Bible quotes. And I'm so envious of people that say that, like, they have all these quotes stuck in their head and for just the right moment, they have like just the right thing to say. And as you're talking about anger, the great thing about the modern age we live in is AI, right? And you can say, hey,
Yes.
if I'm struggling with something, what's the Bible say? Or what's a passage that we get to? So as you're talking about anger, James 1:19-20 came up, which says, everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry, because human anger does not produce the righteousness that God desires. Yes. And so what that seems to me is like slowing down is so important, right? When you get angry, it's because you're going a mile a minute. But if you just figure it out, if you say, well, I can't conquer this anger problem, maybe the first step is to just slow down my thinking, and then that will get me on a path to fixing anger. But as far as you and this anger problem that sometimes landed you in jail, got into fights, how did you conquer that? Or how did you, begin to to make ways to fix that?
I knew that I had to change my attitude. I had to change my ways of speaking, my speech, because everything I said was that word, that was the F word, which is not good, right? Everything I said was like that. I had to change my speech. I had to change my attitude, and I had to appreciate people more.
Mm.
And that really changed my life. Slowly but surely, it started to change the way I was speaking, the way I was looking at people, and all of that. So it really changed my life when I changed my attitude towards
Nice.
people and look at life differently. You know, when I look at life and look at life and say, look, you know, I know it's hard out there, but I know I can conquer it. I know I can do better. And that's what I did. You know, one step at a time, I got there, it changes. And my mom said to me and my dad, he says, wow, there's something happening after you read the Bible and now you got a girlfriend, a good girlfriend, and you're changing. There's something that's changing inside of you, you know. So it was God and my wife that really did the change in me, and my attitude speaks a lot, you know. And nowadays, when I see people, I just love talking to people. I just love what they're doing. Even it's different to what I'm doing, and I know they have a purpose in their life to do something great, you know.
Yeah, very nice. So you say one step at a time, one day at a time, and to break down this massive problem of, you say, well, I need an attitude adjustment, as they say. I need a better attitude. You say a good starting point to break that down is to, number one, think about your word. They say that the Eskimos have 200 words for ice and no words for war, because they have a use for these words. And if the F word or all these kind of negative words are just like stuck in you, then you'll get more of that. And what you focus on grows. So if you have more positive words and you dial back the negative words, it won't be instant overnight, but that's the first step towards having a more positive outlook and better personality. And you say number two is to appreciate people more for what they do. And you could have this bad attitude and say, I have to wake up at 4 a.m. and work till 7 p.m. But hey, you're helping your family out, right? You spend all day having these wonderful memories, and you think when mom and dad are gone or family members moved away, you'll miss those times when, sure, I mean, it's so difficult working a restaurant, I'm sure, but like you'll miss those moments you had with your family. You do anything to have 5 more minutes with them. So there's always an upside to look at. And it's also my understanding that it's not just about you. You've helped out many of the young kids as well, correct?
Yes. And what I do with them is, because I've been always in the food business, I make food for them. And I know some of them can't afford to buy food even, you know, and things like that. So I make food for them every Wednesday, and we have fellowship first. We have some food. And then we get into Bible studying and share with what's happening in our lives for that week. So yeah, it's a real blessing. It's a real blessing for me to be with them and to see them change one step at a time, you know. Like the one person that's in our group, when I first met him, he was very big on the F word all the time. And I never criticized him. I never said anything about his speech. But then slowly and surely, he stopped saying those words. And I could see there's a change in his speech. And even the behavior of one or two of them, there's a change in them, you know. So so definitely, and it just reminds me of the story of Gideon, you know, when Gideon was frustrated because they were attacked by the Amalekites, and his whole village they were going to lose the whole village to the Amalekites. But God came to him and said, you know, the great man of God. God called him great man of God, and he was like shocked. I'm doing nothing. I'm nothing in my village, but yet God could call me great. So there is something great in me that I can do. And then God used him because he believed in God. See, the key to us in ourselves is that we can believe we can do that. But our trust is in God. But we believe that. Believe is such a essential part of our lives, to believe in what we can do. And that is halfway to your victory already, when you can believe in what you can do. So, when I read the story, I always get encouraged when I read the story of Gideon, how God called him, the greatness in him and what he can do. And he got up and he stood up and he said, okay, I'll do it. With 300 men, I can do it, It's just like, wow, it's, what a story from the Bible, and that same story is, it's working out in our lives too, every single day, that we can do great things. So, wow, it's just unbelievable to be doing something great for God, just with these youngsters that I'm looking at. And I said to them, this book that we wrote, I'm going to use the funds, to help the youth of Australia. That's my goal too, to help the youth of Australia, because a lot of the youth in Australia, a lot of them miss the father figure.
Sure.
And I believe being with this youth group here, just mentoring them, coaching them, is like I'm a father to them, being a father to them. So they see me as like a father figure to them. So, and I really appreciate that they allow me to do that, to speak into their lives and tell them what they can do in life, And like one of them that couldn't find a job, and he really didn't have money. And we prayed for him. And within 2 weeks, he's got a job every single day now. He's 20 years old, I think he just finished school and he couldn't find a job and he didn't have money. So we prayed for him, and now he's got a job every single day. Although the job he does it's tough. It's construction work that he's doing. So I said to him, you know what? Hard work never killed anybody. Just keep on doing it. It's helping you. It's building your character. It's chiseling the rough edges of your life, and you're going to be really good. And so that's one of the stories there.
And it seems like we're all on a winding path. You used the valley metaphor earlier, and when any of us that have hiked a mountain say, it's never just straight up, right? There's always going around the side of it. There's always a trail going around a tree, and in life, you never go to a straight line in your destination. And you're talking about nurturing and coaching these young kids, and it's similar how we're nurtured by our Creator as well. And something that always kind of seems to come back to in religion and in self-help is this idea that we have destiny, but we also have free will at the same time, right? We have this this kind of thing we're meant to do, and our higher power is helping us in strange ways, but that's also not an excuse for us to be lazy, right? We also have to do the hard work ourselves. And do you ever think about that, this idea that there's this kind of these two factors in play where we have destiny and free will at the same time? It kind of just makes your brain go crazy sometimes, doesn't it?
We as humans have a choice whether you want to do it or not. You're not forced to do anything, So we have a free choice, and we have a free will to choose the right things and to choose the wrong things, And I want to choose to do the right things, the right way, Although there's, like you said, there's a valleys and there's a hilltops, that you have to go through. but I choose to go through it because I know as I go through it, a lot of things going to happen. He's going to chisel me. He's going to take those rough edges off me. He's going to refine me. He's going to make me a better husband. He's going to make me a better father. He's going to make me a better life coach or mentor to people. And, and he'll give me joy. He'll give me joy and happiness. Like I said, this morning, we just had a prayer meeting at 5:00 with these young people. And I said the difference between happiness and joy, there's a difference. They said, what is the difference? I said, happiness is the outwards of a person. They're happy outwards. But inside, they can be going through the turmoil and the turbulence of life. But when you have joy, even with those turbulence and tribulation and trials, you can still be joyful. You can still be happy. That's the difference that I see between the two. And that's why the Bible speaks about the fruit of the Spirit, which is joy. The joy of the Lord is our strength. And wow, it's so powerful. That's why the joy that we have can make us endure the tough life that we're going through. And the good life that we go through,
Yeah, very nice. And I think what's also great about what you've learned from life and from the Bible is this precision with words, right? Like if we think, well, I'm sad or I'm happy, that's not very specific. But when you're really getting down into it and you're saying, hey, there's happiness and here's joy and here's this nuanced situation, it helps us gain a better understanding. And so you and I have been jumping on all sorts of topics here and all sorts of life lessons, but I want to make sure in these last few minutes we focus on what's important to you. So do you think there might be a missing question in our conversation that I should be asking you, I just don't know to ask you?
Okay. The question is that I think I said it before, and the question is that I like the quote that Nelson Mandela said. He said, "It is always impossible until it's done."
Yeah.
Fantastic. And can I tell a little story about him?
Please.
Okay. So we were on a holiday in Cape Town, and it was a 12-hour drive back to Johannesburg, and we drove back there. And when we got to Johannesburg, it was like 6:30, 7:00 at night, and we were in Chinatown, and we were hungry and tired after the long trip. And we saw a parking that was right in front of the restaurant. So we parked our SUV there, parked it out. There were 8 of us. We jumped out of the car. We had a good stretch and everything. While we made it back to Johannesburg, we had a good holiday in Cape Town. And as we parked the car and jumped out, stretched our hands and our legs and out, and the owner of the restaurant came running out, Chinese man, and he said, "You cannot park here." I said, "What do you mean?" The parking was here. It's an empty space. This space is not for you. You cannot park here. He said, "This parking, I reserved it for President Nelson Mandela." I said, "What? You're joking? Are you joking?" He says, "No, it's for him, and you can't park here. You got to get in your car and get out." And my pastor is he's 6'4", and he says, "I'm not moving my van for anybody."
Uh-oh.
He said, "I'm not moving my car for anybody." As we were debating about whether we're going to move our car away or not, I saw a limousine coming, parked right next door to our car. Black limousine. And I saw some guys jumping out in suits, open the door, and we just stood there. All of us just stood. Who's this man coming out from this limousine? And out came Nelson Mandela. Wow, what a character of a man. He just came out of the car and looked, and he said to us, "What is going on? What's happening here?" We said, "No, They said, this parking is for you. We cannot have it. And he looked at us, shook all of our hands, smiled, and he said, you know what? Just leave your car where it is. My bodyguards will take care of your car. Go have your dinner. Wow, I'm saying, man, right from his mouth, you know. I tell you, it just blew me away. It just blew me away, you know.
Yeah. And that tells me how important focus is, right? Like we've all been in that situation where maybe someone is not acting properly or is not ideal, and you say, you know, I could get taken off of my goal and be focused on something else. I could worry about the little things like a parking spot, or I could worry about what's important, which is having a nice meal at the Chinese restaurant with my family.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that we learned a lot that day from Nelson Mandela. His attitude, you know. I mean, he's an important man, the most important man in the country. But yet, you could come out and say, "Look, guys, have it, you know, just have it, and I'll have my guys look after it. Still on top of it, that's a bonus. I'll have my guys look after it. Nothing's going to happen, you know." And go enjoy yourself, you know. That attitude and gratitude from a president is just unbelievable, and it blew me away. And it just shows in life that, you know, your attitude and gratitude means a lot to people. Means a lot to people, you know. We may not see it, but when people see how you say things and how you act and all that, it talks a lot about who you are, you know.
Of course. And
It
there's the
talks a lot.
ripple effect as well, right? There's
Yes.
You're having a good attitude and good behavior towards others, and then they take on that role modeling themselves. And here you are all these years later saying that you were just so impressed by the way he acted in just a few seconds. And then now you're passing this lesson on to others versus, I mean, imagine if he had been rude, or if he said, move your car, and then that might have made you feel bad. And then you'd pass that along, so you can choose to pass along the bad or the good.
Yes. It really taught me a lesson, Mr. Plank. That really taught me a lesson that, you know, in life, you know, you got choices, you know, take the right choices and it will lead you to the right path, you know.
Yeah. That's beautiful. That's wonderful.
So it's really important. It's really important. And yeah. And in that way, you can enjoy life, whether it comes hard at you or good at you. You can face it. You know, that's why we can face tomorrow because of that, because of our attitude and our gratitude. You know, we can face tomorrow, you know. Tomorrow's another day. Not today is the end of the day, but tomorrow is another day, you know.
Yes, back to one day at a time. And it seems like life is too short to be miserable, so find the good. And the idea behind us talking today is we want people to be so impressed and so curious about you, Mr. Robert Ford, that they want to find out more. And we know that you're a co-author with Pat Mesiti in the book The Freedom Blueprint, which you can find at freedomblueprintbook.com. That links us to Amazon. And then your website is robertfordfreedom.com. So what's at that website, and why should someone go to it?
I think someone that needs encouragement, someone that needs to change the way of life, to have the life transformed. Sometimes transformation comes instantly, but I would say most of the times is gradually. And, you know, reading my story, it's going to tell them that life is real, but transformation is more real. It's more powerful. And you know, when you can believe it, you can trust in it, it's going to help you to change your life from nothing to something great. You know, so
yes.
I believe that it can help a lot of people, the book, to change their lives. And even in business, and not only in life, in business too, to do a business that can help people out, you know, like our food trolleys that help a lot of people. The that people that had nothing, no food to eat, the poverty level that's in South Africa is just really appalling. It's really, really bad. And when you actually go into the townships and actually interact and encounter the people, you could feel the deep need, for food for them, for the children, for the families. That there's nothing out there. That's why it's good to have something where you can help people, a business where you can help people, and see them get transformed and see their lives being changed. So so I was very blessed that our business could do that in South Africa, with the food trolleys, that one trolley could feed a whole family, where they can have income and where they can have food for the children and schooling for the kids. So that made a big difference, and I'm glad we played a part while we were in South Africa. And it was a life-changing experience for us to do that.
Yes, it is important to have a way to give back to others, because then they themselves will give to others, and then you're just putting this positive force into the world. And so that next step is to go to robertfordfreedom.com. Mr. Robert Ford knows what it feels like to look strong on the outside while fighting a battle on the inside. And so if you need some help, some resources, some stories, some new ideas, then go to robertfordfreedom.com and you'll get the link to that book where Robert Ford shares business tests, mistakes, obedience, his move from South Africa to Australia, and the lesson he learned the hard way, which is that delayed obedience can be costly. And Mr. Robert Ford says that you are not stuck, because no matter how long you have lived a certain way, change is possible. So robertfordfreedom.com is the place to go. And you've already dropped so many amazing, helpful quotes and lessons for us today. Do you feel like one final one? Is there one final quote or lesson that you feel wraps up our entire conversation right now?
Oh, yeah. I love that, Mr. Plank. What I've got here is a verse from the Bible that helped me throughout my life, even till today, and a quote, right? I've got two quotes. Can I do two quotes?
Of course, yeah. Two for the price of one.
Okay. So the first one is a verse from the Bible in Jeremiah 33, verse 3. It says, God says, call unto me, and I will answer you and show you great and mighty things which you know not of. And my quote is this: tough times never last, but tough people do.
Very good. Very inspiring.
And then my other quote is, we may not be where we want to be yet, but praise God, we are not where we used to be.
Yes. We're not going backwards. We're moving towards that next milestone, one day at a time, one step at a time. So it's time now to go to robertfordfreedom.com and check out these resources and just find out how we can think differently and get to some lasting change by hearing about Mr. Robert Ford's story and some of the life and spiritual and business lessons that he has learned along the way that he wants to pass on to you. That's robertfordfreedom.com. And thanks so much, Mr. Robert Ford, for showing up, stopping by, being raw and vulnerable, and sharing this with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Plank. We love you lots. We just want to say you such an amazing person. Thank you for your time, for doing the book for all of us. And we really appreciate you. And we look forward to doing even more things together, another chapter, another book. So, you really got us fired up now to do something.